Hello everyone, my name's George Hammond and today we'll be taking a look at Ashlight by Native Instruments. Now Native Instruments were very kind and sent me a copy of this over to review, so we're going to be taking a look at it. And my initial impressions, just from tinkering with it over the last few days, it's very powerful. It's got a lot of very nice sounds in it. It contains over 320 snapshots, which are basically presets, but that's what they call them in Contact. And it has 4 gigabytes of uncompressed samples in it, so it's got a smallish amount of content in it, but it's very powerful, and all the different presets are amazing. The amount of actual samples and audio recordings they've got, it is on the lower side, but considering you can, I believe, drag your own samples into Ashlight, that more than enough makes up for it. But you can do whatever you want with it basically then, can't you? So let's take a look at Ashlight here. So as you can see, it's a contact player instrument, so we can just go to Ashlight here and load it in. And this is what the default patch sounds like. That is very beautiful, and what we can do here is we've got this XY pad, so we can move this around whilst we're playing. Then that is really cool, and that's of course automatable. But what's really nice about that, because it is an XY pad, you can automate both bits individually, which is really useful. Because when you're writing and you want to just automate it very specifically, you can do that, and that's wonderful. And a lot of libraries like this, you'll just have mod wheel, and that will control all of it. In this case, mod wheel controls the y-axis. I'm not too sure exactly what controls the x-axis, but mod wheel does the y one. Let's take a look at some of the presets here. So there's a nice little preset manager. You just click on the name here, and you can go through all the different snapshots. You've got MPE, Showcase, Sub, Effect, Decaying, Keys, Transition, Brass, what's that, Bass that is, sorry, Swell, Pulses, Sequence, Pad, Atmosphere. We'll just go to Showcase here and we'll select some random ones, like Melody Hook. And so what the XY pad is doing is written on the bottom here. So we've got gate, and we can set this ourselves, which is pretty cool. So we can change exactly what the XY pad is controlling. So that's pretty nice. Let's take a look at some more presets here. Landscape 10 caught my eye. That is a really nice sound. I like that one a lot. Let's take a look at some of the bass presets here. So we can select multiple different types here. So there's only a few bass presets, so we'll go through all of them. Abandoned Quarry, this one's called. That reminds me a lot of the Dune soundtrack, but also Blade Runner. It's that kind of a synthy, sparse sound. I like it a lot. Let's take a listen to Chasing Spirits. Not a very big fan of that one. Let's take a listen to Dinosaur Love. Get some pretty heavy sounds with it. That's really cool. I like that one. Dinosaur Love, that's called. Grinding Lights we've got here. Not a big fan of that one. Lime Bean. Lime Barn even. That's pretty cool. So as you can see, we can go in and we can specifically edit the grain in the sample. So the one on the left is the grain, I believe, and the one on the right is the sample. And I do not think it's possible to make it so it's 2 samples and 2 grains, which is a bit disappointing really, because it would be really interesting, I think, if you could have 2 grain samples together. But it seems that you can only have a grain in a sample, which is a bit annoying, but oh well. Let's take a look at the settings we've got here. So, if I was to just hold down the slide, I'll just put it down like here. What we can do is we can change the cursor position here. So the cursor's that line there, which is jittering about, I think, due to an LFO that is on it. Or was it bounce edges? It might be that. I'm not too sure, but if we can change the position here. Go into here and change the grain size. So when you're working with granular synthesis, basically what is happening is you're getting a recording and then you're zooming in, you're getting just a little slice of it, and then you're turning that into a synthesized sound. So as I change the interval here, so I'm going to have it's only the grain that's turned up now. As you see, if I move the interval size here, now if we change the position, so now we've only got a tiny little fraction of this sample here. Now I believe there's an LFO on there somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure whereabouts it is. It's here somewhere. But if we take L macro modulation, there will be. So if I turn this down, and then what we can do is go back to the sound effects here. We can change the range, so we can just cut it down just a little bit of the sample we want here. So we just want this little sample here. Then we can tune it down however much we want. I'll put it down by 5 or 7 even. Put it up for the amp a bit. Now we'll go over to the sample, bring that in. And now we can mess with the sample. So we can transpose it and tune it. And so there's an arpeggio here that we can change about with. And we can draw in the kind of pattern we want it to do. We can filter it. Etc. And we can change the filter modulation and the amp we've got here. Then we can apply effects to it. I keep right clicking by accident, sorry about that. Turn up the drive here. It almost sounds like the default click in Cubase. If I just turn that on, we listen to it. And then it's got that same sort of bleepiness to it. So anyway, there's a lot of options for what you can do to customize it, and you can drag in your own samples, I believe. I have not got any that I can drag in at the minute though, but you can drag in your own ones, which is pretty cool. Let's take a listen to some keys here. So it's an arpeggio one. That one's interesting. Let's actually take a look at some of the Decaying Wings, because I had listened to some of these earlier and they sound really good, so let's take a listen. This one's very interesting because it's changing the sample, but I think that's just pitching it up and pitching it down. I'm not too sure. I've got this other sound slowly coming in. The suspense is definitely there. That one's really nice. I like that one. And you can favourite them with the little stars here. So I believe, I'm not actually sure how exactly you get up the ones which are your favourites. There surely should be a way, but I'm not exactly sure how you do that. But oh well, there's a way of doing it, I believe. Let's take a listen to some of the pulses. I really like pulses. Like the sound. As I said earlier, a lot of these sounds will fit in with a sci-fi kind of almost futuristic fantasy as well. You know, lots of underscore. You can do a lot of underscore with synths like these. This would fit. This would be completely. It would completely fit in with the world of Dune and Blade Runner and all stuff like that. It's really quite good, and I love the UI. A good UI, I think, is very important. There, some people would say, "Oh, it's just all wasted space." I disagree. I think there is enough space there to show exactly what you need to show, and that's important because a lot of the time you'll get these really big UIs, and then you'll just have a little big circle in the middle and two faders to the side. Whilst in this, you've got your XY pad, you've got your sample and your grain, and you've got 4 modulation options, or 4 setting options here. We've got delay, reverb, filter resonance, and mod effects. So there's some nice options right there on the UI, and you've got a nice little thing to look at. It's a cube with what seems to be like a volcano idea. I'm not exactly sure what it's meant to look like or what it's exactly meant to be, but it looks pretty cool, and I would say that the sounds in this library do represent that quite well. So it's always quite nice, because if you're stuck for a bit of inspiration, you can just load up a patch, look at that and think, okay, we're in this world, there's this mountain, there's this cube. slowly over to it. And there you go, you've done your underscore. You know, there's so many easy things you can do with one patch. One patch could hold an entire score really with this synth, and you can just load it up, and it's very inspirational. You can load it up and you can just have a play with it, and you can feel inspired. It's really, really quite good. I really think it's a really nice, lovely library. I've also got installed here Straylight and Farlight and Arcus. We'll be taking a look at Straylight and Farlight as part of a review series of the entire Light trilogy, as it's called. But I'd also like to take a look at Arcus at some point. So you can get Ashlight for €199 over on the Native Instruments store, but you can also get it in a bundle with the other two. Let me just try and find how much the bundle is, because I do believe you will be saving a bit of money if you get the whole thing as a bundle, which is Ashlight, Farlight and Straylight, and that in total is €399. So if each one is €200, you're saving around €200 there, so it's quite a good saving. So you're getting one for free basically, and I would definitely be able to recommend Ashlight. We'll have a look at the others in another video and we'll be seeing, but if they're like Ashlight, I can definitely say that I will be able to recommend them, because Ashlight, from my initial playthrough and this video and just exploring some of the patches, it's got a really nice sound to it, and it's got a really nice range of sounds in it, but it really does fit that kind of sci-fi, action sci-fi, fantasy almost. There's a lot of things you can do with it. It's got a very nice sound set, and I really like it. I would recommend it, and I would recommend that you pick it up. I think Native Instruments do a sale in the winter, so you might be able to. If not, there's always the summer sale. I know that's always on, and it is available in, well, Ashlight isn't available, but the other two are available in Complete Ultimate and Complete Ultimate Collector's Edition. So if you get that, you could always upgrade to the bundle for cheaper. There's a cross-grade thing to the bundle if you already own the other two, or if you own one of them. And I believe next year, I don't know for a fact that Complete 14 is coming out next year, but normally every 2 years they bring out a new Complete, and that would be 2022. So there might be a new Complete next year, and if it does come out next year, I would imagine that Ashlight is in the Ultimate and Collector's Edition versions, because Straylight and Firelight are. It'd be a bit weird to leave this buddy out on his own. That'd be a bit sad, wouldn't it? But it does sound really good. I really like this one. I've got loaded up here. Shimmering Rebellion. I really like this one. I'm going to save that one for later, have another play around with it, because honestly the sounds in here are really inspirational. You can listen to them and it is just really, really inspiring. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video and listening to some of the sounds in Ashlight. I definitely recommend you go out and grab it, because it's definitely worth it in my opinion. As I said earlier, Native Instruments very, very kindly sent me a copy of it. I tried to stay as unbiased as always. As I said, the only thing I'd really like in Ashlight is the ability to have 2 grains or 2 samples, have 2 of the same, instead of it's always 1 grain, always 1 sample. It'd be good to have 2 grains, but never mind, it's not a very big thing, and overall I think the library is definitely worth it. And I would probably give it, out of 10, I'd probably give it an 8.5 out of 10, maybe even a 9, because there's not really any issues with it, and the only thing I've got against it is that you can't have 2 grains and 2 samples, and that is really quite a small thing. So overall I think I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you for watching. My name's been George Hammond. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like and hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to click the little bell so you get notified when I upload. I'll be having some more reviews out soon, and I think you'll enjoy them as well. Thank you for watching. My name's been George Hammond. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.